Hello, thanks for watching my presentation on the module of International Cultural Policy. I will introduce my case study. It is a project from Portugal called Dancing with the Difference. It's a project from Madeira Island, and it's mostly related with the idea of expressive democracy, but also international cultural diplomacy, cultural democracy. It is a project with almost 20 years of existence. Mostly what they do is uh, theater performances, mostly dance performances and other kind of artistic performances, street performances too. And I think it's a very interesting project uh, related with the idea of giving voice to minorities and expressivity. This project is known mostly because the people who are the main characters in the project are people with several disabilities, from mental disabilities to physical disabilities, and even if they are working with other kinds of people, they are the main characters in this project. Uh, I would like to give you a brief history about this project. Emerging in 2001 in Madeira Island, Portugal, Dançando com a Diferença, which is the Portuguese name, the real name of this association, has stood out at national and international level over the course of its 18 years of activity. Throughout its existence, it developed actions for the promotion, application, and dissemination of the concept of inclusive dance. The main goal of this project, this idea of inclusive, giving voice to minorities. 60 cities and 25 countries from Europe to America have had the opportunity to receive the performances, workshops, conferences, and/or other actions within the scope of the inclusive dance promoted by Dançando com a Diferença. This is a project of dance, and I would like to introduce you these key aspects. Social inclusion, again, as I said, it is obvious the relation with the notion of expressive democracy. People with special needs and different disabilities are the special characters in this project, as I said, the dancers. This project has been traveling around the world, and the success is enormous. I will give you some images about their work, but it's very easy to find in internet videos and photos of their performances in their website too. Uh, in an international level, they have different interesting stories. I will just give you one example. In Russia, after a performance from this association, the public was clapping for almost half an hour, standing up and crying. And Russian public is very special public. This maybe we can relate this with that idea of people going to touristic destinations related with pain, war, catastrophe, and giving them the idea that they are good, they have good feelings when they are in the presence of these kinds of performances, these kinds of places. Here in this specific example, assisting to watching this project where the main characters are people with disabilities. This is just an example going in other way, but just to explain you uh, the effect that this kind of projects can have in the public as artistic production, but also as in a social way, and it is important to refer that. Another image of their work. They have been very successful during all this time. Here, image of a project called Blind. It's a street performance. Very interesting, as you can see in the image. In 2014, they were also in Paris with this performance. Here, image of their work. Um, Even if this project, and even if in the beginning this association, this cultural association, was a project with fundings from the state, uh, and even if today they are completely self-efficient in financial terms, this project is much more than that. Here, using this idea of McGinn, practices deemed to have a cultural value that is not reducible to economic value. Um, Beyond the economic reason, expressivity, own sake. Here again, that idea of the inclusive projects, cultural projects with this possibility to have to give the chance to minorities to express themselves. Um, Another key aspects: giving voice to minorities, democracy, expressivity, therapeutic role through arts, something that we can also say. Here, giving this expression of cultural liberation, idea of Z. This is a photo from a choreography called Endless, related with human rights too. Here they have this dimension too, calling the human rights, here with this German expression saying that work can give you freedom, here in a cultural dimension. But it's interesting to note that, and it's relevant too. This project is giving to these people which their everyday life is not easy, an experience that can be normal for other people but not for them. Again, this idea of expressivity possibility to this kind of people, uh, giving them the chance to have some good time in their lives, because it's not easy to put this kind of people performing in front of a public, and it's very important to refer that. This book from Jensen, saying and asking if art is good for us or not. Actually, this is the title of this book. And answering in a very clear way. It is obvious with the example of this project what can be art for these people. And yes, answering, yes, art can be good for us in some ways. Of course, this can be discussed and can be relative, subjective, but with this example, with this case study that I am uh, introducing you, it is obvious what art can be for us sometimes. Some images of their work. Here you can see uh, people with disabilities among other people, all together. After all, we are all humans, and it's what matters, and helping each other is very important, even more in days like this. Uh, this idea of Chesterman too, strongly related, not directly with this project, of course, but uh, the body is a central part of human perception and performance, and should be taken in consideration when we discuss art experience. here with this kind of people with disabilities is very important to 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 say this and to relate with this idea. This association, as I said, they have been very successful in their works. They also have projects with other cultural associations, with other artists. Here, this project called Happy Island, they were performing with this famous Spanish artist called Laribo. Uh, they were traveling to different places in Europe and was very successful. Here again, that idea of international cultural relations, maybe a bit of cultural international cultural diplomacy too, because this project has been traveling around the world, and it's not an instrument from the state. They are independent, but they are doing a good job taking the name of Madeira and Portugal around the world, and having contacts with different organizations, different cultural associations, and the effect has been very, very positive. And the effectiveness of this diplomacy coming after the real goal of the project is very interesting to note too. Dancing with the Different is a project that is going beyond the common sense of body once we are in the presence of deprived and disabled human bodies. As I said to you, it's very relevant to note this because, as I said, this kind of people, they are very special, they have special needs, and putting them doing this kind of performances is not easy. Another image of their work, as I said, it's very easy to find videos, photos of this project if you are interested in exploring a bit more of their work. uh, Concluding, saying that even if we are in the presence of mostly expressive democracy idea, as I said, this project is using their work as in an international level, and we can also talk about international cultural diplomacy, uh, international cultural relations. And it is important to note that this kind of projects are very important to these ideas, to the effectiveness of these ideas in a practical way, giving voice to minorities, giving voice to this kind of people, social inclusion, very important to refer to democracy, all this kind of ideas, and ending with this expression from them: we dance with the body, not despite the body. Thanks for watching.